So I wanted to share my process of how I edit photos. There is tons of ways that people edit, even for myself. I think that I probably have 3 ways that I edit photos depending on what the photo is for. But I'm going to show you just my go-to way that I do it. There's times I'll work in Lightroom and then bring it into Photoshop, or there's times where I'll do everything in Photoshop and I'll show you some of the raw features that Photoshop has. And because I feel, for me, I know like I didn't learn about this until later on, and so I felt like to get like all of those levels you had to be in Lightroom and then move it into Photoshop. But I'm going to show you how you can get all those levels in Photoshop and you can do it all there. So that's what we're gonna talk about today, and I'm gonna try and show just a little bit of like how I process, like how I pick, how I color stuff. So I'm not gonna take too much of your time in that, but I'll just show you like just kind of some things that I do to select photos. Okay. So this is right off of the card. So I have this open in gallery mode, and then I just go through just hitting the arrow, and I do have raw photos, raw images and large images. I do shoot in both. We could go into so many things. So what I do is I just click, and like I like this one, so I'm gonna right click and then I'm gonna color tag it. I kind of like this one a little bit more. We'll grab this one too. All right, so I've picked a few already. So what I do from here is, like, you can see the colors, the yellows. I think that's just in that area. Yeah, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll edit these 5. So I right click, I create a new folder, usually in a backup drive like my OneDrive, but sometimes I'll work off my desktop and then move it later. So I'm gonna put her initials. Oh wait, I already have that. Just kidding. So I have my folder. Okay, so then I'm going to select these images. I'm holding down Command. And then I'm going to have it copy those photos into that folder. Awesome. All right, so from here, I'm going to bring these in Photoshop. Okay, so like the JPEG, it just opens right into JPEG. But if you're wanting that full panel, you can, on a Mac, it's Command-Shift-A, and that's gonna bring the camera raw. So it's gonna have all those levels for you. So if you go into Filter, there's Camera Raw filter, and then that will bring up all of these levels for you. Alrighty, so I guess since we have this, we'll go ahead and edit it. So these are just the first things that I do. I go into detail. I always sharpen it to about 60 here, and then I'll reduce the noise just a little bit. For me, this photo is very yellow, so I'm gonna bring the temperature into the blue a little bit. And then I like to open up the vibrance just a tad, especially with like all these beautiful colors that she has, like just to open that. And then saturation just a tiny bit. So I do different things for different photos. It really depends, kind of what look that I'm going for. And I changed my style I don't feel like I have like a set style. I love that already. Look how bright that is. Yes, I love these colors. I still feel like it's a little bit yellow, but I can show you what I do to fix that. Okay, lens blur. Yeah, here we go. I always like to add a little bit of the primary blue. The saturation just kind of like makes the color pop just a little more. Oh my gosh, I love those colors. Okay. I think that's good for me. So we'll just hit okay. And at this point, like I said, I felt like there was still a little yellow. So I always do Command B, which is the color balance. And I like to make the shadows a little bit blue. And then the highlights, we can cool that down just a little bit more. Since this was taken, and see, look at that. Like, look at the yellow. Because this was taken indoors. So to me, there shouldn't be this warm. And this is my fault. Like, there's a setting on my camera that I didn't switch from being outside to inside. So that's something I need to do. But I could bring, fixing it here in Photoshop. Awesome. All right. And then Command L for levels. And like if I wanted to brighten it a little bit, I can add some contrast. I usually just add a tiny bit of contrast. See, and then, all of this depends on your style, what you like technically, like photography, this is a no-no because it's that side of her face is. She is very fair-skinned, and whenever we were shooting with the lights, I felt like the lights washed her out, so I turned the studio lights off and just used natural light. And so for me, this is more kind of like an artistic photo, not really like a technical photo, because I do have some of those from this shoot. And let's see, I can bring that up so you can see what I'm talking about. But I just wanted to show y'all like the difference. So this is like, the lighting is here is like technically correct, with the studio lights, and there's there's hardly any shadow behind her. It's like the soft light, the soft shadow, but you can see here, like I feel like this one's it has more depth. It's just more dramatic, you know what I mean, with the lighting. So for her, like this is the type of lighting I would like to use on her, which is natural light. Like I said, it is heavy on the side here, but I think that this is beautiful. So, and that's what photography is, and especially it's a creative outlet. So it's whatever you feel is beautiful. I love it. All right. So from here, I will file, save as. And usually I'll put like an E on the end just so I know that this is the edited photo. So that was the JPEG. So here you go, save. I'm gonna save this as a copy JPEG.